My name is Bill. The thing about the end of the world is, it doesn't come with a trumpet or warning. It just shows up one morning like a hangover you didn't earn. I was 18 when the outbreak hit, old enough to think I knew what mattered, and too dumb to realize I didn't. Back then I thought apocalypse meant Mad Max cars and flamethrowers. Turns out it's just boredom, rot, and bad smells. Dad was the first one in our house to turn. We didn't know what it was yet. He'd been sick for days, shaking, muttering, eyes going that wet glass color. When he bit through the neighbor's arm at breakfast, that kind of cleared things up. Dad. Oh, poor Dad. I didn't have the heart to put him down. Maybe that was weakness, maybe nostalgia. He taught me how to drive stick, how to change a tire, how to lie well enough to get a job. So I shoved him in the closet, nailed it shut, and talked to him through the door sometimes. Like a pet plant, you water it, you talk to it, you pretend it's not rotten from the inside out. I tell him about the news, about how the phone stopped working, how the neighbor's windows stayed dark. He'd groan now and then, like he was listening. It wasn't sentimental, it was just something to do. You learn quick that the hardest part of surviving isn't the hunger or the cold, it's the silence. Now years later, I'm walking past busted road signs that say something in Russian. Maybe welcome, maybe keep out, maybe no refunds. It don't matter. I don't speak the language, and the dead don't neither. Anyway, I don't know exactly where I am now. Some ex-Soviet nowhere filled full of crooked signs and buildings that look like they gave up halfway through existing. Every letter looks like it's either yelling at me or threatening to fall over. One of the signs says something in algebra in big red paint. Could mean free giggle chicken. Could mean free rabies. I try not to think too hard about it. I came east chasing rumors. People said there were clean zones here. Real civilization with doctors, hot water, and electricity that didn't come from setting trash on fire. Spoiler, they lied. What I found were empty streets, frozen corpses, and one gas station that had vodka that could probably fuel a truck. I brought a little bottle of it with me anyway. It's good for disinfecting wounds. Also, feelings. The longer you survive, the less you care about stupid. Sometimes I still talk to Dad out loud. Old habit. I tell him about the places I see, the people I meet. Well, met, past tense. Most of them didn't stay people for long. I even named my shotgun after him. Keep things simple. When I say I spent the morning with Dad, nobody asked questions. Funny how the world went to hell and suddenly I'm the most well-adjusted guy around. Guess everybody else was just pretending before the dead came along. I haven't seen real people in a long, long time, but I had a banging adventure back in the day. See, I was sitting on the hood of old Lotta, sipping that antifreeze grade vodka, when I heard the moaning. The kind that makes your skin tighten before your brain even catches up. I slid off the car and grabbed Dad, the shotgun version, not the closet version. The real Dad's still in the closet. I tried to visit at Christmas. 3 of them came stumbling out from behind a half-collapsed billboard. One was missing an arm, one was wearing a wedding dress, and one looked like he'd lost an argument with the train. All of them were hungry. I don't panic much anymore. You run out of panic after the first couple of years. Like milk, it spoils fast. I decided, took a sip and muttered, breakfast crowd's early. Then I pulled the trigger. Boom! Boom! Click! The third shot didn't come. Misfire. Of course. Russian gun, Russian vodka, Russian luck. I swung the butt instead, cracked open train guy's jaw like a piñata. It didn't even had candy in him, just some unusual black goo. When it was over, I sat down again, breathing hard but not scared. I never get scared anymore. I just get tired. Every fight's the same. Noise, blood, silence. Life, but stickier. I looked up at the gray sky and said, "You see that, Dad? Still got it." A gust of wind answered me, or maybe it was him. Hard to tell these days. The vodka burned going down, but it felt almost honest. The dead don't lie, and neither does cheap liquor. Nights are the worst, not because the dead, those idiots, sleep less than guilt, but because you start thinking. I camped in the shell of some grocery store. The place that still smelled like rotten pickles and regret. I sat there chewing on a can of something unlabeled, maybe beans, maybe dog food. Didn't matter. At this point, my tongue's just a spectator. I tried to remember the last real meal I had before the world went sideways. Mom's meatloaf, I think. She used to burn it every time. Said char adds flavor. Turns out she was just ahead of the apocalypse in her cooking game. Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like if Dad had stayed. Dad? Would he have made it? Probably not. He was the kind of man who believed duct tape could fix anything, including emotional problems. Maybe that's where I got it from. You lose someone, you don't cry, you just patch over it, pretend it's holding. The wind howled outside, whistling through broken windows like a drunk trying to remember a song. I took another swig of vodka and talked to the dark. You know, Dad, I think I'm getting sentimental. Either that or brain damage from the vodka. Silence. Then from somewhere far off, one of them groaned. The sound echoed through the aisles, slow, patient, stupid, like the world itself was remembering me. You're not done yet. I closed my eyes and laughed, not because anything was funny, but because if you don't laugh out here, you end up just another mouth waiting to starve. Morning came late, or maybe I just opened my eyes slower than usual. Hard to tell the difference anymore. The store windows let in a thin, gray light, the kind that makes everything look like it's been lightly dusted with death. I stretched, groaned, and checked my pockets like a man hoping money might have magically grown overnight. No such luck. I was about to move on when I noticed something on the floor near the door. Footprints. Fresh ones. Not the dragging, lazy kind that dead leave either. These were tight, careful, alive. For a second I thought maybe I'd finally snapped and was sleepwalking in circles. But the prints were smaller than mine. Someone else had been here. My first reaction wasn't excitement or hope or any of that heroic nonsense. It was annoyance. Living people meant noise, problems, and the possibility of getting attacked. And attachment in this world is just pre-grief with better lighting. Still, curiosity is a stubborn disease. I followed the tracks out to the front doors and into the cold. The air smelled like rust and seawater. Off in the distance, smoke curled up from behind a line of crooked buildings. Could be a fire. Could be someone cooking. Could be both. Great, I muttered. Another optimist. I looked back at the store one last time. The aisles, the cans, the ghost of life where people argued about cereal brands. Then I adjusted my pack, patted Dad's stock for luck, and started walking towards the smoke. Maybe I was finally ready to talk to somebody who wasn't already decomposing, or maybe I just needed a new mistake to make. The tracks led to an old service road that used to be asphalt and was now more suggestion than surface. My boots made a soft crunch in the frost. Each step felt like an argument between moving forward and turning back. I've never been much for suspense. Life's short even when it drags, but something about those footprints felt like they were pulling a string in my chest I didn't remember tying. Along the way I passed a billboard, half collapsed in the ditch. The face had some long-dead politician smiled down through cracked paint, still promising a better tomorrow. I flipped them off out of habit. You got your wish, buddy. Tomorrow's better. No voters left. The wind carried the faint smell of smoke again. Wood, maybe flesh. My nose has trouble telling the difference these days. Either way, it meant warmth, and warmth meant life, and life meant complications. I stopped by a frozen puddle and looked at my reflection. Gray beard, cracked lips, eyes that looked like they were waiting for someone else to show up behind them. You look like hell, I told myself. Then I laughed. Guess that makes you fit in. It's strange being lonely in a world full of moving bodies. The dead are everywhere, but they don't count. They're like background noise, something your brain tunes out until it's too close to ignore. What gets you isn't the threat, it's the empty space between the threats. That's where the ghosts live. The footprints veered off toward an apartment block that leaned like a drunk at closing time. I could have stopped there, should have. Instead, I tightened my grip on the shotgun and muttered, "All right, whoever you are, this had better be interesting." Up close, the apartment block looked like it had survived a bombing by pure stubbornness. The windows were jagged mouths, and the front doors hung open like a tongue sticking out at the world. The footprints went straight inside. I paused at the threshold. You learn to listen in life, not just for noise, but for absence. The building was quiet, but not the good kind. It was the heavy silence that feels like something's holding its breath. Inside, the air was thick with dust and faint sweetness of decay. Old wallpaper curled off the walls in strips, patterns with little blue flowers that looked like they'd been weeping for decades. I followed the prints up a flight of stairs that complained about every step. Then I saw it, evidence of living. A can freshly opened sitting on a windowsill. Some kind of beans, still wet. Next to it a spoon, metal, not plastic. That alone meant someone resourceful, or desperate, or both. There was something else too, a drawing done in charcoal, smeared and rough. It was of a person. Could have been a self-portrait, could have been a memory. Hard to tell. The face was hollow-eyed, but the mouth was smiling. The kind of smile people make when they're trying to convince themselves they still exist. Great, I whispered, an artist. Because the one thing the apocalypse needs was more emotions. Still, I felt a twitch of something under the cynicism. Curiosity, or maybe that old dumb hope that refuses to stay buried. Whoever left this behind wasn't just surviving, they were remembering. I sat down by the window, keeping my shotgun across my lap, and looked out the color of the sky. If you're still here, I said, to no one, don't make me like you. I'm bad at funerals.